An amazing, powerful, empowering movie with a real...
Damn, this nigga was fucked up.
Yeah. He looks super drunk.
DTmerch.com. Go over to DTmerch.com where you will find all of our t-shirts, hats, jerseys, phone covers, backpacks. You got our most popular shirt there, the black tee with the white logo. Ooh, what's next to that though? With all that color right there. Deja Doodles, real name Deja Leonard. And she has the Roastin' and Hostin' shirt featuring all of the current cast of the Double Toasted crew. Going over to her Instagram page, just type in Deja Leonard or Deja Doodles, and you will see all the caricatures and illustrations and other pieces of art that she's done. There are many ways to support us by having a subscription, and I mean, you can help keep these shows going because of a donation, or you're paying for it and you just want to keep it going, or better yet, as I said, you want to join us. And there are many ways to do that, but the way I recommend is to pull out that Amazon account, just regular account, and use our Amazon Pay button, put in that username, that password, press in. Korey, wait a minute, shit, what's happening? Settle down, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, y'all. It's okay, they're trembling over there. Don't worry about it, don't panic. It's just that toasty goodness all over your body. Let's jump into the bet that I made here. Now, what we need to understand here, and let me look at this before I go any further. Before we go any further, I don't blame people for some of the things that they are betting me against when it comes to Black Panther. Right now, I'm looking at Variety, and Black Panther is, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it is, adjusted for inflation, the highest grossing superhero movie. It became the first movie since Avatar to lead the domestic box office for 5 straight weekends. And this is something here. The blockbuster will soon top Titanic. Titanic.
The one that's a real thing.
Titanic. I believe that's an ingredient over in Wakanda.
Titanic.
Titanic for the 3rd spot on the domestic chart at $659.4 million. Star Wars: The Force Awakens is the all-time leader on the domestic list. And some people say, hey, maybe we can top that. I don't know. But you see how much money it's making, how many records it's breaking. So, I couldn't blame somebody if they come in and they say, yeah, that's going to be a tough act for anybody, for anyone to follow, even for the Avengers, the mighty, mighty Avengers. Yeah, sure, we getting this big event with Infinity War, but they ain't got it like the Panther got it. And one person in particular I made this bet with, and that is Danielle Delaire.
The cosmic one.
The cosmic ones. Who dares argue with the cosmic one?
Money's even real.
It's $50. Take it off. Rain. She's making it rain. She floats away. And so the bet that we had is, I said that there's no way that Black Panther is going to keep the crown as the highest grossing superhero movie. Mm-hmm. And she, as she would with a movie featuring a bunch of big sweaty black men, she disagreed with me and bet me somewhere. Now, this one bet we made $50 for, but somewhere it came out to 100. I don't remember. I'll play the clip right here. Maybe it'll explain how we came to.
It doesn't, because I watched this clip and I remember the 50 came up, but then it was on Instagram and she tweeted 100. I was like, where'd this other money come from?
She just giving money away, man.
I bet you that this movie will not be a Better Than Sex or full price. I bet you'll give it under full price.
Okay, so we betting $50 on that.
$50 hairs.
All right, y'all see this? So let me put my hand right. She really did say doll hairs. That's the first time I heard that.
She'll come in with a Barbie.
I wish she would come in with a bag of hair. I'll make her eat that shit. Now, that's the bet where she was talking about my rating. Later on, that's where she came in and said that I believe that this movie will beat Infinity War, or Infinity War will not top it. That's where that other 50 came in.
There you go.
So it was 100 for my rating in that. Now, I am still confident that Infinity War will not be topped. It will beat it'll beat Black Panther by a wide margin. And one of the reasons why I'm saying this, maybe not by a huge margin, I ain't talking about no Grand Canyon type gaps, but now hear me out, because I also have some other arguments here that will support Danielle. I'm looking at the pre-sales for Infinity War, and they said Avengers Infinity War already the best-selling superhero movie in advanced ticket sales, beating Black Panther. But I have 6 reasons as to why Black Panther might still reign supreme domestically over Infinity War.
I can think of 2 right off the bat.
Well, you know what? Let's see if we actually hit them. Martin says, I got 2 black people.
He ain't wrong.
No, he ain't wrong.
Okay, that's 3 then.
Because most of this is cultural significance. Now, let's go ahead and get into reason number 1 why domestically Black Panther is still going to hold it down. And that is because of an older demographic. Now, I know we get into like color and everything and race, but just think about this. Black Panther had older people who do not go out and see blockbusters, much less superhero movies.
Right.
And y'all already know the story about me and my mother, man. We had a big old date night going to see this movie. And I told you, she said, let's go see it again. My mother's like 80 years old. Don't tell her I told you that. And she loved this. And if you, I'm not the only one. Mm-hmm. You know, there's a lot of people who made this sort of a family thing.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of people appreciated seeing that image on screen, and the word of mouth in our community alone was just like, yo, you got to go see this. You got to see it now and see it multiple times. So a lot of us did that.
You have to take into account that, yeah, race, it did play a big part of this, because you're going to have some people who are going to go watch, at least seen the trailer for Infinity War. And now you got some old people talking about, look, I don't know who all these white and green and purple people are, but where Black Panther at? Mm-hmm. And I thought I was seeing Black Panther too. You know, they don't know what they're getting into, and the reason why is because you can take race out of this, and you have to consider that when you take race out of it, it's just this is a movie that older people in general can get into.
Sure.
Because the movie is self-contained.
Yeah, yeah, but with Infinity War, Avengers Infinity War, a person could be like, well, I ain't see the last 2, so I feel like maybe I got to watch those.
That's right.
I'm seeing this trailer. I'm seeing all kinds of people I don't know.
Exactly. You know, anybody who saw Black Panther is going to be able to go in and get the story and they don't have to have any other context outside of that. You ain't got to have some cameo from somebody else. Half these people didn't even stay for the stinger to see who the other person that came up, you know, and didn't care. My mother said, babe, I don't care. I saw Black Panther. I don't give a fuck
Who's that white boy?
Yeah. But you got to,
and older people have money and time in the afternoon to go see movies all day.
Oh, yeah. I go see movies and old people just in there all day long.
Yep.
They're like,
even when the theaters are burning down, they there.
I see it. Yeah, I want to go see.
What was that?
It was Resident Evil. And they had that 70-year-old woman who was like, I want my money. I didn't get my zombies.
And I think another big thing, too, I don't know if it's going to come up on the list, but the push behind Black Panther outside of, just word of mouth, like the album. We got Kendrick Lamar to do this.
Oh, yeah, we getting the
my
things.
bad.
We getting the
I'll
things.
back up.
Slow.
I don't know these lists. You got to send us this shit before you try to, hey, I got a list.
Now, I don't know if you have this, but I'm going to say it anyway.
I don't know if you have it.
I got you.
Okay.
I got you. Ease it in.
That's not my style.
One of the things that you also have to consider that made Black Panther what it is domestically, at number 2, we have not just repeat viewing, but we have event repeat viewing. And what I mean by event repeat viewing is that you had, the family get together and make it an event. You got together with your cousin Pookie that you don't like. Them two aunties they can't stand each other.
Yep.
They dropped that shit and went to go see this movie. And there were people who made this almost like a youth outreach program.
Yeah. A lot of people raising hundreds of thousands of dollars to take, boys and girls camps and, youth football leagues out to see this.
Who is that plays for the Golden State? What is it? JaVale McGee?
JaVale McGee?
Yeah, JaVale McGee. JaVale McGee, NBA player. He is one of the few athletes that rented out the theater and took a bunch of kids from, a certain neighborhood and plus a lot of kids of color to go see the movie.
I'm going to take 150 kids from the community and go see.
Was he at the bar before he did
That's what it sounds like. I mean, he's in California, so you're probably mad smacked. But I'll take heart-shaped herb. Take these kids and see a movie.
Take some bunch of kids.
We're going to see Panther Black.
I just have to figure out where I'm going.
I just want to thank everybody for coming out. I'm glad I could be a part of this. I invite you guys to come see Black Panther, which is an amazing, powerful, empowering movie with a real...
Damn, this nigga was fucked up.
Yeah. He looks super drunk.
This girl's like, man, get his ass off stage and just start this free
Start the
movie.
movie when he passed out up here.
God damn.
Y'all kids having a good time? What we doing?
What's up, kids? How y'all doing today? Raw theater. These kids still waiting on him.
This is 3 billboards. What are you doing here?
See, with Infinity War, people will rent out theaters. Companies, game companies, and places like that, they'll rent it out. But there's not that sense of obligation like you had with Black Panther. If you were black, you better see Black Panther.
Yeah, I didn't even have a choice. You didn't see that first weekend. They're like, excuse me, where's your card? Snap.
Yeah. So you go home, your grandmama asking you, hey, baby, you see Black Panther?
You saw it.
Don't come up in this house.
Wakanda forever.
Well, also, it's a Black Panther was a movie where people could dress up for it in, quote unquote costume and not feel like dorks about it.
Yeah.
Because everybody could break out their African garb.
Even if you weren't from Africa.
Yeah. And, have parties and go. And it wasn't like dressing like Wolverine from a discount Kmart outfit.
Out there with your butter knives. I'm a butter you good. I'm going to get your cholesterol up. I can't cut you, but, I'll kill you slowly.
But at the same time, you knew some people walked up in that flea market Mexican rug talking about, this is African.
Yeah.
Bitch, that ain't African.
Mexican blanket. Shut up.
But it's people who would never think to dress up for a movie.
No, that is true.
Who were doing it and could feel comfortable doing it.
Yeah, like that was one of the, it was literally, I think I tweeted it out, it was like black magic that night because like the day we went, we as critics, we just saw it as a regular screening, but like the opening night, it was just black people in Austin, Texas of all places. I didn't even know this many black people were here. And they filled up the theater in African garb and people were taking pictures and I was like, it was an event.
Let's go to number 3 here. And number 3, the reason why Black Panther could still dominate here domestically is because Black Panther did something that no other superhero movie has been able to do in a long time, and it even broke something, a bad trend that was happening with superhero movies, and that is it breaks superhero fatigue. And if you look at Black Panther has been around, and Martin will tell you, Black Panther's been around since 1966. That big debut in Fantastic Four, number 52.
Back when they almost called him the Cold Tiger.
Oh, okay. I thought they were calling him something else. All right. And even though race was a part of it, even your most cynical superhero fan, or not even fan, but critic, the one that says, you know what? And we heard a lot from the director saying superhero movies are ruining Hollywood right now. Even your most cynical superhero movie critic had to come out and say, yes, this is an event that we have never seen anything like this before. I have to admit.
Yeah, and even though it did hit a lot of superhero tropes, like basically the superhero fighting his mirror image and things like that, it still found a way to make them kind of new and made the weight of the situation more, the gravity of the situation larger than what it was.
Yeah. Now, with Infinity War, it's a movie where we have not seen this kind of event before. 10 years of bringing these superheroes together. But that's the thing with this, man. We've seen these superheroes for a long time. I mean, starting out with the Avengers, and now you got to the point where a lot of these superheroes have had their own movies. They pretty much had their own series, even ones that nobody even knew about. We got Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, and Iron Man, sure. But then you get to people like Guardians of the Galaxy where nobody heard about them. All of a sudden, they're working up towards Volume 3. Yeah. And Ant-Man got his second movie coming out. And don't nobody even give a shit about Ant-Man.
Ant-Man, what? That came out?
These are superheroes that we have not only seen before, but these are superheroes that we've seen their type. And yeah, I mean, when I say that, I am saying that you've seen mostly the white male superhero for decades.
Usually American.
You're American white male superhero for decades, man. We've seen this. And with Black Panther, this is something that we really hadn't seen before.
Right. Well, it's something that you've had several times and you love, and this is going to be the best one of this thing you love, versus something completely new that you wanted but wasn't sure you were ever going to get.
Yeah.
And then it was.
Exactly.
So there's pros in both of those.
No, that's
as far as which one wins out, it's a crapshoot.
So that's an excellent point. But then you go to other things where there was just, and this is number 4. There was just this real hardcore push for Black Panther to succeed. And the reason why is because it wasn't like there was this, I mean, yes, there was a lot of huge black pride behind it. I know people will hear black pride and they all of a sudden think black Nazis. It's not the same, but there was this huge push of black pride behind it. But also, the push to make this movie succeed was almost a preemptive strike against the negativity and the trolls that were coming out before then. I'm looking at metro.co.uk. Headline here, trolls are trying to sabotage Marvel's Black Panther on Rotten Tomatoes, and the film's not even out yet. Now, these trolls are worse than Russia, man. They're going in and they're controlling with bots the audience score on IMDb and on Rotten Tomatoes to bring it lower, just because, well, a lot of people say, well, for different reasons, they're assholes, and yeah, maybe they don't like superhero movies, but they just can't stand seeing this black superhero about to succeed.
Yeah.
And a lot of people said, fuck you.
We'll show you.
Yeah, and a lot of people did. It was almost like a statement to go see and a fight to see this movie several times to make it successful.
And like the whole thing, like obviously being black pride and a push behind it, like it was like, if I catch you bootlegging this shit, I will cut you. Don't you ever. Like there were rules that went along with this movie.
Yeah, Infinity War is gonna be all right. Ain't nobody out there rooting for Infinity War to fail. I mean, if you are looking for somebody to go out there and do that, who are you looking at? What, DC fans?
Well, Danielle.
Danielle. Yeah, yeah, DC fans are actively doing that, but DC fans, they gonna go see this shit too.
No, this is one where even the DC fans have to go, yeah, I'm going.
I mean, at this point.
What can we do?
At this point, yeah, they even looking at their movies like, man, you dead already.
They're still twitching. They're still twitching.
Yeah, they still twitching. Yeah.
They're still holding on to Wonder Woman.
Like, I need to move on with my life. The music here. Now, I do understand, and we're number 5, the music. Not since the great Nickelback. Not since the great Nickelback gave Spider-Man a reason to be a hero.
You act like the song wasn't bumping though when it came.
Man, it was.
This shit was everywhere.
Don't even try to front. Everybody was rocking this shit.
All right, yeah, I mean, it is. They're like, I don't like Nickelback.
You would be ghetto as fuck, and motherfuckers in their car. Hero saving us.
God damn you, Nickelback.
Everybody was rocking this shit. Not since the great Nickelback made Spider-Man a hero. No,
Twisting his ball.
no, really, there's a short in the fucking wire.
Help me.
No, man, when we're joking, but that Nickelback song, and like a lot of other movies out there, like a great soundtrack should. The Crow. I even go The Crow 2. And
Batman Forever.
Batman. Yeah, that was kind of random, but it had some great songs.
Man?
No, it had some great songs.
Yeah.
But you know what? The thing with a great soundtrack to any kind of movie, but especially a superhero movie, is that they sort of musically tell the story track by track. And
Infinity War is not that kind of movie.
No. And see, this right here is like Black Panther. The soundtrack came synonymous with the story.
Yeah.
You know, when you listen to this, not only are you thinking back to some of the scenes that you love from the movie, but before the movie was even out, that soundtrack was amazing.
Well, yeah, like this came out, I want to say like a week or two before the actual movie did. And I was
people hyped.
Yeah, and I was listening to it, and like they were coming out with the singles, and obviously Future's verse coming out was was an issue.
Man, you know what? Even I got into that. I
feel like people will turn around. It's like, all right, whatever. This is on a Disney soundtrack of all things. But yeah, listening to the soundtrack, like after listening to it multiple times, it's like, wait a second, this is literally telling the story of a movie. Like there's moments in there where he's saying, "Hail King Killmonger," so you're like, oh, this is gonna happen in the movie.
Yeah. It was you either hyped up for the movie because of the soundtrack being so good on its own, or when you finally heard it, it's like, damn, not only is it making me think back to some of my favorite parts, but I feel like I'm kind of going along with the movie again. Yeah. And it got people in the mood to go back and see the film.
I think this is the only movie where I bought the score and the soundtrack.
Yeah.
You couldn't get it on Spotify?
Come on, man.
I was supporting. I could have gone a completely different route, but
No,
I put
your
my money
money
down.
in.
Yeah,
Like, all right, so you more dedicated than I am.
squad support.
I ain't got
man.
not see. I ain't
He
really
on Spotify using the white man's streaming platform, and I bought my shit.
And you know what? That white man from Europe too.
oh no, it's probably Dutch.
And that is at number 6. I think it just has the whole the story, the backstory of Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan coming in together again, because together they are a success story. These guys, they made now 3 successful films together, starting with Fruitville Station, and then we know that they went up for their second film and did something that was considered to be a miracle itself, which is make another Rocky movie that was different from any other Rocky movie out there. Creed.
Yeah.
I had to put this in here. I ain't trying to front nobody out because I mispronounce things all the time, as you know, but it just made me laugh. Let me see if I have it here. Whoopi Goldberg.
I saw cred. Ma'am.
Let me see if I have this here. Whoopi Goldberg had Michael B. Jordan on The View, and she asked him about Fruitville Station. Listen to what she calls Fruitville Station.
You worked 2 films together, actually 3 films now. Creed, Fruityville Station.
Fruityville Station.
Well, no,
That's in West
now she
Hollywood,
said
man.
Fruityvale, but you said Fruitville.
Okay, all right. So you got me there. So we both fucked up.
Yeah.
At least she actually had something, like she made a children's
sound like
show.
a cereal.
Yeah. Like the VeggieTales version of this.
Fruity Tales.
No, that was the gay porn version of it. It's just Fruitvale. It's not fruity. It's all right.
It's gay propaganda vegetables.
I have my fruity veil on. But yeah, I think a lot of when they come into this, a lot of people, they see it just has quality with it. These guys have made 3 successful movies together, and when they come in here, they're thinking, all right, they're taking on something new, but with these guys having this working relationship, this probably has a chance of being better than what anybody imagines.
Yeah.
And and I'm not trying to say anything bad about the Russo brothers, but when you think about them, they're great directors, man. I mean, I've loved everything that they've done. They have each other, the brothers coming in here.
Well, plus with these particular movies, they have an unblemished track record.
Yeah.
It's like anytime a Marvel movie's coming out, and you're like, who's directing it? The Russo brothers. Oh, well, shit. Let me go buy my ticket right now.
I'm awake.
Yeah. So there you go. I think that you have to consider domestically, there's a lot of significant things that could possibly, just due to the people who would never go see a movie of this type.
Okay, so you didn't even hit the 2 I was thinking.
Oh,
thinking
see, that's
recidivism.
what do you have, man?
My lesser of the 2 points is that there was something, a movie that Black Panther reminds me of, not when I watch it, but just the reactions to it, most reminds me of is Avatar. And it's this whole building this fictional world, where just to see how people reacted to it, as if they love watching this because they feel like they are in this fictional, idyllic place.
And they want it to be real.
And they want it to be real. And they go back and see it again because it puts them back there in this utopia.
Even with that bad green screen that they got.
Well, Avatar hasn't aged well either.
Yep. Do you think that people, when they see something like when they see the Infinity War, do you think that they don't want to be in that world either? I mean, I know it's a world of destruction and whatnot, but do you not think like, man, I wish I was there and I was a hero and I was helping the world and saving the world?
Well, I mean, there's always, with any kind of superhero thing, it's all based in power fantasy. But this is all conflict, and it's ostensibly our world. So they aren't transported to someplace other than where they already live. It's just maybe a hyper version of it. But Avatar was like really being transported somewhere. And just like Africa, for a lot of people, Africa is as far away as another planet, conceptually.
Yep.
And so it's like, hey, this is there, and if I could just go there, and life would be great. And, but Infinity War is just not that same kind of thing.
Okay.
And to piggyback on that, when they showed things in Black Panther, they were actually building a world. Yeah. And this one, they're just kind of there
Destroying
a world.
Yeah. But my bigger point that I'm surprised you didn't bring up is really timing, in as much as Black Panther came out in February with little to no competition, which made it easy to cruise to 5 weeks at #1.
That's right. Yeah.
And Infinity War is coming out in the heat of summer.
Competition.
I mean, it's not the heat of summer, but it's coming out. Yeah, you got Rampage right before. You got Han Solo in there. You got everything else queuing up just to like. Well, I can't beat it, but I want a piece of that.
Yeah. No, man, that's an excellent point. That's an excellent point. Yeah, because this really had no competition. At all.
At all.
Infinity Wars, Avengers, you ain't shit. Ain't no
worldwide, we know it's gonna crush, but
No,
domestically,
I know.
I don't think any. I mean, we haven't seen the movie yet, so we can't say it. But I don't think I'm gonna go see Avengers Infinity War 5 times like I did Black Panther.
Yeah.
Now, what something that Infinity War does have on its side is that Black Panther has built up a lot of goodwill to getting people back to like, hey, I do want to see these again. I'm not as tired as I think. And he's going to appear in Infinity War.
He's going to con some people. Like I said.
Man, y'all going to go see Black Panther 2? It's coming out in April.
The catfish.
Catfish people. Who left the door open and let all you white people in?
So it kind of looks like they're in Wakanda. And they're like, wait a second. Something's off.
Yeah, so there you go. 8 reasons why this could hold it down.
I thought it was 6. No, his 2. You're right.
Yeah.